Hello and welcome to episode 6 of the Sterns Files. Had to miss a day yesterday due to allergies, so I hope you saw my community post over on MichelleAfterDark, because I went out in the fields, and those wheat fields, half of it is actually grass. Like, I know wheat's a grass, but actual grass. And it's all pollinating, and it's just crazy, absolutely crazy. I couldn't breathe by the time I got home, and I was sneezing and snuffling the entire day. All right, well, I've not been in the fields this morning, so I've been fine today. And the wind has actually changed direction, and it's blowing the pollen away from my bedroom window, which is fantastic news. Anyway, over to this. Now, we got to page 339 on, when was that? What day are we today? So Thursday, we got to page 339. Now, for the next, 100 pages or so, we don't actually learn anything new, really. An awful lot of it is complete repeats, because I think what has happened is when Stefan was arrested, all of the information, like the search warrants and everything, all goes along with the arresting information. So it's basically all in the discovery twice. So we're going to be able to skip a whole oh, I think I'm back. I'm getting a low internet signal. So if it gets a little bit dodgy, I'll be back. I'm back. Good stuff. Yeah, sound has gone. Yeah, it was just the internet had a blip. All right, we'll just endeavour to keep going. So I'm going to go through this arrest information, but as you'll see, when we get to all of the repeats, I'm not going to read it all again. That's just ridiculous. We've read it all once. So I'm just going to skip. So I think tomorrow we'll get to the phone pings. And I'm really looking forward to going through the phone pings with you, because it's fascinating, absolutely fascinating. Now, I know that Gray Hughes has done this. If you watch Gray Hughes' channel, he's gone through all the phone ping data. And it's absolutely fascinating to see it all laid out, like, step by step, like the 25th, the 26th, for everybody's phone. And I've never seen a discovery actually include that much information about the phone pings. So I'm really excited to go through that with you. So I think we'll probably get to that tomorrow, as long as we get through this today. So if I go a little over the hour mark, then you can forgive me. But I just want to get through this today. But like I said, I think we'll probably do it all anyway, because there's so much repeated information. But there are a couple of reports at the beginning of this arresting information that we do need to read. Okay, so this is when he was arrested for the S battery. Yeah, so he was arrested on the, excuse me, he was arrested on the Wednesday. So Maddie went missing on the Monday. He was arrested on the Wednesday, before her body had been found, for the S charges, the SA charges. So her body wasn't found until the Friday, and then it took till, what was it, the end of April to arrest him for her murder. So there's none of the murder information in here. Sound's gone again, has it? Is it in and out? Okay. If it keeps going in and out, we're not going to get through it all today, are we? It's telling me that my internet's okay here at the moment. All right. So this is the first report from Kissimmee Police Department. Does it have an officer name on here? Oh, yeah, here we go. M. Morris. So this is whose report this is. So Officer Morris. And again, you know, the first bit of narrative is the same as we all know, but we're going to read this because there's some interesting stuff towards the end of it. So on February 26th at approximately 8 p.m, 13-year-old was reported missing to the Orange County Sheriff's Office by her mother, Jen. Jen completed a sworn witness statement to the Orange County deputies to the following. Jen stated on 2/26/24 at approximately 8 a.m. she saw Maddie getting ready for school. So she told two different stories. Now, I think, honestly, it's the only lie I think she's actually told that is evident in the reports. Absolutely 100% evident in the reports. The first responding officer, she said, I saw her getting dressed at 8. And then to the second set of officers, she said, well, I didn't actually see her, but I thought I heard her because there was voices in the kitchen, like from downstairs. Okay, so, but to Officer Morris, she said she saw Maddie getting ready for school, which was a lie because Maddie was already dead. Jen stated Stephan Sterns took her to school and dropped her off close to the school. Jen said Stephan dropped Maddie off on Town Loop Boulevard between Town Centre Boulevard and Hunters Park Lane. Jen said Stephan dropped her off between 8:30 and 8:45. Jen stated Maddie never made it to school. Jen went to the school around 4 p.m. to pick Maddie up, and she never came out of the school. Jen stated she searched around the area and then went to her mother's office, but could not locate her. She went to her mother's office because sometimes Maddie did go there after school. Deputy Joseph from the Orange County Sheriff's Office contacted the on-call domestic crimes detective who investigates missing persons, advised to send the report to the missing persons squad. February 26th, Detective Hunt from the Orange County Sheriff's Office received information that Maddie did not report to school on the previous day. Therefore, Detective Hunt began his investigation. Detective Hunt interviewed Jen and Stefan during the initial phase of this investigation. During these interviews, Detective Hunt noticed some inconsistencies. Okay. Detective Taglett with the Orange County Sheriff's Office was also asked to assist with the interviewing of Stefan during this case. Detective Taglett would eventually become the lead investigator for the Orange County Sheriff's Office case. Detective Taglett contacted Stefan at blank, presumably that will be Jen's home. Detective Taglett was provided locations where Stefan's vehicle, the 2010 Silver Lincoln, had been seen during the time Stephan stated he dropped off Maddie at school. Detective Taglett confronted Stefan about his location during this interview, but Stefan would provide answers that did not match up with his vehicle location. Yeah, dumb criminal. Stefan provided consent to search his phone. However, he stated he'd accidentally performed a factory reset on the 26th. Yeah, I bet the officer, I would love to have seen those officers' faces. I bet they just rolled their eyes at each other and thought, right, okay, get the silver bracelets ready. We know this dude is dodgy. Detective Taglett asked Stefan a second time if he consented to the download of his phone, and he agreed and provided his passcode because he thought he was smarter than the cops. Detective Taglett then proceeded to the security gate at the apartment complex to review the video. Upon reviewing the security video, Detective Taglett observed Stefan's vehicle exiting the complex with a female wearing a green sweater in the front seat. The female was slumped over to her left, which was an abnormal way for a person to be seated in a vehicle. At that point, Detective Taglett decided to secure the residence at the apartment complex for a search warrant, and then they made them move out. They had to move into a hotel. The Kissimmee Police Department was notified and asked to assist with this case. Detective Smallwood responded to assist Orange County on this search. The decision was made to have patrol officers from the Kissimmee Police Department secure the location for the search warrant executed on the 28th. On the 28th, Detective Mark Morris, was called and asked to respond to the apartment to assist Orange County in executing the search warrant for their missing person case. Upon my arrival, I contacted Orange County deputies who were waiting for their forensics unit to arrive to execute the search warrant. While Orange County was serving a search warrant on the premises, A subsequent search warrant was executed on Stefan's cellular phone. Upon reviewing the contents of his phone, which not quite the factory reset that he thought it was discovered several images saved to a Google Drive. The absolute clown doesn't realise that when you factory reset your phone, it takes your stuff, like your apps and stuff, off the phone. But if you've got Google Drive, all you have to do is log back into Google Drive and it's all there. What a clown. Saving them all to a Google Drive. Why? Because he thinks he's going to get off scot-free and then he can just download the photos back from his Google Drive. Well, a separate search warrant was served to Google, and upon the receipt of the contents of Stefan's Google Drive, now they got this really quickly. Like, sometimes these search warrant returns can take forever when you're dealing with like social media companies and stuff like that. You know, Facebook and Instagram and that lot tend to be really slow. But Google, we're on the ball, yeah. Okay, so got Stefan's Google Drive, several images and videos located, which depicted, we know what it depicted. All right. Also pictures of him. All right. During this time, it was also discovered that Stefan did not drop Maddie off at school, as previously stated. Based upon the contents of Stefan's Google Drive and the suspicious nature of Maddie going missing, it was decided I would become the lead investigator from the Kissimmee Police Department. Corporal Ilgan and I responded to the Orange County Sheriff's Office, where deputies had already arranged for Jen and Stefan to be transported there for a press conference. I was shown the contents of Stefan's Google Drive, where one folder appeared to be dedicated to Maddie, containing over 1,700 files. And we know from the documents that have already come out, they've released a lot already before they released this. You know, like pages and pages and pages have been released before this. We know that those photos go back to 2019 when Maddie was only 8 years old. All right. So, 1,700 files. Majority of these photographs showed Maddie in different positions. Okay. All right. Orange County detectives began to author an arrest warrant for Stefan. Due to the fact that most of these images appear to have occurred at the residence, probable cause was provided to Detective Moore of the Kissimmee Police Department. Detective Moore wrote the arrest warrant charging Stefan with battery and possession of child P. While the arrest warrant was being written and obtained by Detective Moore at approximately 4:45 in the afternoon, I contacted Jen in a conference room at the sheriff's office. Jen was asked questions about Maddie being missing and the dynamics of the household. Jen stated her and Stefan had been dating on and off for approximately 7 years. So when Maddie was 8, 7 years, no, 7 years from 13. So Maddie was 6? Stefan moved out of the home in the later part of 2023, November, December, when, ironically, Maddie started doing better at school. Jen stated while they were together, they would either all sleep in the same bed or Maddie would sleep with her while Stefan was not there. When asked if it was normal for Stefan and Maddie to sleep together without her being there, she said yes. Jen stated if she needed a good night's sleep due to her anxiety, she would ask them to sleep in a different bedroom. Orange County detectives had previously shown Jen photos of Stefan's man-bit for identification purposes. Jen did not want to believe Maddie and Stefan were engaged in activity. Maybe that's the real problem. That she buried her head in the sand. She didn't want to believe that things were going on. That's my feeling at this moment in time, that she didn't want to believe it, that there was all the signs were there, but she was just turning a blind eye because it's easier to do that, isn't it? All right. Jen asked to see the image of Stefan and Maddie. She asked to see it. So that's new. I pulled out a printed picture from Stefan's Google Drive and showed Jen with Stefan's mambit in her mouth. Oh, dear God. Jen said she didn't recognize anything in the picture. Okay. As if she was in denial. However, she became visibly upset. I asked Jen additional questions unrelated to this particular case. I excused myself. I excused myself and told her that I was going to speak with Stefan. Contacted Stefan in an interview room at the sheriff's office. Stefan was asleep when I entered the room, along with Corporal Ilgen. Stefan was asleep. Well, so laid back, so thinking that everything's fine. He's asleep. After introducing ourselves, I explained the reason while we were there speaking with him. I read Stefan his Miranda warnings, which we waived, and agreed to speak with us. Stefan stated he had known Jen for several years and they had dated most of that time. I asked Stefan what the sleeping arrangements were within the house. Stefan stated that Jen typically sleeps with Maddie in Jen's bed. I think that will be the way around it is. Stefan stated Maddie wanted them all to sleep in the same bed when he returned from being away for several months. Okay, so putting the onus on. Maddie wanted it. Maddie wanted this. Stefan stated Maddie always needed human contact when going to sleep. Stefan referred to it as snuggling. That's sickening. As the interview went on, I asked Stefan if Maddie had ever been active with anyone in the past. Stefan stated there was an incident when she was much younger. Stefan said Maddie did something with a phone or camera, but she wasn't scolded for it. Okay. Stefan said she was very young when this happened. I asked Stefan if he provided Orange County deputies consent to search through his phone, and he stated yes. I asked Stefan if he had a Google account, and he stated he did. When I asked Stefan if he saved pictures to that account, he said sometimes. Stefan stated he did have pictures of him and Maddie saved to that account. When I asked Stefan about all the pictures he had saved, Stefan then asked if he should be talking to a lawyer. Shortly after that, Stefan requested an attorney. Stefan was arrested for battery, familial custodial authority, when the victim was under 12 years old and possession of child P. A search warrant was obtained to collect DNA from Stefan. The warrant was executed by Orange County Detectives and Forensics Unit. I was able to search through Stefan's Google account and observe the following video images. All right, so I'm not going to read these. Not going to read them, but what I will say is that some of them, these have been out anyway. These have already been out. We've already had this. But yeah, it appears that in a lot of these, she appears to be sleeping. So I think he drugged her. And it begs the question whether maybe an overdose or something happened. I mean, we don't know because we haven't seen the autopsy report and we won't see the autopsy report. We don't know what the cause of death was. We've heard from someone on Court TV who has a contact in the ME's office that she was strangled, but we don't know that for a fact. But yeah, all right. So these are images of before Maddie turned 12. All right, next report for information. Reporting officer T. Clark. So I think this is very similar. So this is one of the officers who turned up at right in the night time. So 23:55, just before midnight on the 26th. This person, Officer Clark, turned up. So this is just Officer Clark's report. So let's see if there's anything new. I don't think there's anything new in these ones. Like I said, these are just these are all repeats. Yeah, so that one goes to interview the family again. We've read that one. So this is P. Wood. So 2:29, approximately 7:30, I, Officer Wood, drove to the Osceola County Communications Centre to enter a full extradition felony warrant for Stephan Michael Sterns. So that was all that person did. Should be transportation. B. Moore. This is relating to warrants. February 27th, officers at Kissimmee Police Department. That's the execution of the search warrant. I'll read this. The Orange County Sheriff's Office was working on a missing persons case that was initiated in their jurisdiction. During the investigation, the Orange County SA unit joined the investigation to assist with the S allegations that were discovered. The Orange County SA unit drafted a DNA warrant along with an arrest warrant for Stephan Michael Sterns. However, after further investigation, it was discovered that the incident location of the battery occurred in Kissimmee Police Department's jurisdiction. The investigation was therefore transferred over to Detective Mark Morris, who we've just read his report as the lead detective. Detective Moore was provided with Orange County's drafted warrants to transfer over into our format in order to submit the warrants through the e-warrant system. I think that's probably why we get all the warrants again, all identical warrants. We get them all again in this batch, because things were transferred over with the fact that he was arrested. And then it all transferred again to Osceola County because Maddie was found in Osceola County. So you've got several sets of agencies involved in this, because you've got Orange County, then you've got Kissimmee Police Department, then we've got Osceola County because Maddie was found there. So the murder will be all Osceola County, but the S battery is Kissimmee. So all these agencies have all the same paperwork. Okay, so yeah, so went to the Osceola County Communications Centre that had the arrest warrant entered. Stephan was transported by an Orange County deputy to the Osceola County Jail, where he's being held with no bond, and he's still there. All right, so this one, can't read that. Trizani. Okay. 2:29, approximately 4:16 in the AM. Officer. Irizarry responded to blank in reference to a follow-up. Upon arrival, I was advised I needed to hold the scene and not let anyone enter or exit the residence. All right, because they were involved in the investigation. So that's all to do with the investigation. Jane Neves. So 2:29, approximately 5:23, Officer Neves responded to same apartment. Upon arrival, I was advised I needed to hold the scene. So these are just the officers who were there as security. All right, so C. Smallwood, reporting officer. So this is an S battery supplement. Okay, so same stuff. So, all right, we know all this. See if there's anything else. That's search warrant. All right, so that's just about the search warrants. A Latchman, another supplement here. See, each officer has to report, even if they're just seen security. So there was 2:29, Officer Latchman or Lateman, anyway, was dispatched to do scene security. So that's another person on scene security. So this is A. Morales. This is to do with missing person. We've probably read this. Oh no, this is capital S battery. So another one on scene security. Arrest warrant. Okay. Here's his arrest warrant. Kissimmee Police Department. Battery, victim under 12. So he was charged with a few, and then it was like days later, he was charged with more. Like more came out. So he does have 60 charges in all. All right, we've read this. This is the arrest warrant. This has been out for quite a while now. So I've read that previously. Emergency warrant, request cover sheet. So I think this is now coming up all the warrants that we've seen. So arrest warrant. This is just a duplicate. So he was born on 4/25/86, 6'2", 220 pounds, black hair, brown eyes. Battery and possession of material. Okay. Signed on the 28th. Another affidavit for arrest warrant. So again, this stuff's been out. That's an arrest warrant. Another emergency warrant request cover sheet. All right, so that's the warrant for his DNA. I read that the other day. DNA from buccal swab from Stephan Michael Sterns, blood, saliva, epithelial cells, photographs and swabs of his mambit and the clothing worn. Yeah, read that. It's a great investigation, but it's been easy for him. It's been easy for him. All right, we can flick through these warrants. Victim notification cards, battery, Kissimmee Police Department. Again, Kissimmee Police Department. So victim received a copy. Well, she didn't, did she? Because she was dead. They didn't know that then, though. They probably had a very good idea by then, 229, because they got the security footage from the front of the apartment. Okay. 124S battery. It's just so sad. Under 12 years. Bond of none. That's his bond thing. See me. Oh, that's all redacted. UK. Again, redacted. Another warrant. Like I said, we're going to skim these dead quick now. Again, another one for his DNA. Lots of repeats. Lots of them. So that's just the narrative. That's from Kyle Cole, if you remember. I think it would have been Thursday. We read the stuff from Deputy Sheriff Kyle Cole. Well, that's all of his stuff. Again, it's all we've read it all. Just go back to Thursday where I went through the search warrants. I think I did a little bit on Wednesday as well. I think I started the search warrants on Wednesday. So here we've got a blank page. Property form. So we've read all this. If you remember, if you've been following these, that was all the stuff that they got from his car. More stuff that they got from his car. I mean, I don't know how many of you carry latex gloves around with you, but he has several. So these were from the house. like the sheets and all of the stuff, his weapon. We're not, as far as we know, Madeleine wasn't shot, but at the time, Madeleine hadn't been found. So it makes sense for them to take his weapon because they don't know. So again, more stuff from the house. Once again, we've read all this. I don't know why they took that. The dog seatbelt. I don't know why they took that. Presumably that would be Jen's car. And then if you remember from the other day, I read all the handwritten, and then we just flicked through this because this is all the handwritten stuff just written up into, into an official form. So again, we've got, this is from Jen's, from latent lift cards from the Nissan. So that's Jen's. There's no pillowcase in a car. Weird. People keep all sorts in the car, don't they? So trace filters from Jen's car. Because at this point, Jen was just as much a suspect as Stefan. Because, she'd made potentially incriminating statements that, sometimes they all slept together and that she allowed Madeleine to sleep with Stefan. So, at this point, they were thinking, well, maybe she's in on it. Maybe she was taking the photos. Maybe there's photos that they thought they just hadn't found yet that would involve her as well. So she's just as much a suspect. And interestingly, very early on in this discovery, we find that the cadaver dog didn't alert on Stefan's car, but it alerted on Jen's. It alerted on one of the wheel wells in Jen's car. So I still can't explain that. I still would like to get my head around that. Okay, what's this? So we've got a bunch of responding officers here. I do remember reading this. I just don't remember what it is. Oh, that's when Maddie's body was found. Okay. All right, so that's scene security. So again, these are just all repeats. We've read them all. We can skip. Another DNA. That must be either the fourth or the fifth time that page has appeared in this discovery. Well, that's just the narrative for it, which we've already read. Signed from the judge. Again, DNA. At least they've got all the paperwork in order. It's better to have too many copies than not enough, isn't it? Jen is awful. She is awful. Even if I don't believe she murdered Madeleine. I know some people do believe that Jen did it and Stefan's covered up. I don't. I think it's all him. I think Jen was just willfully ignorant, like completely gullible, but totally taking the easy way through her life. Like, oh, I suffer from anxiety, therefore nothing, nobody can bother me. I've got to distance myself. She's in denial for an easy life, and she's turning a blind eye to all of this stuff. That's where I'm at. But in terms of the actual murder, I don't think Jen knew anything about it. I think she was just completely gullible, and she believed what Stefan told her about that day. But as for the S battery, I think she has a lot of responsibility indirectly. She could have put a stop to it. And I think if she was more maybe, and it's easy for me to judge from like 4,000 miles away, but I think if she'd have had a closer relationship with Maddie, because they were always arguing, perhaps Maddie could have confided in her. Yeah, she had the blinders on. And I think Maddie, I think the closest person that we've seen as, you know, in the evidence here in the discovery, I think the closest person Maddie came to telling was the school counsellor. When she told the school counsellor that her mother's boyfriend was a creep and he made her feel uncomfortable. I think she probably was very close to telling that person. And probably eventually, if she'd carried on seeing that person, she probably would have done. But unfortunately, it was too late. It was too late. So this is search warrants for his, that's for his car, where his car was held. So arrest warrant, once again, that's a repeat. And there, a repeat. Okay, what's this? Florida Department of Law Enforcement, Kissimmee Police Department. So, Jamie Young. Not seen this one. Oh, okay. That's just a written up list of the swabs and stuff that they took. So, fingerprints, 7 latent lift cards from the Lincoln, buccal swab from penile swab, blood card, fingernail scrapings from Maddie. Oh, this is important. This is important because this is when Maddie's been found. All right, we need to concentrate on this. This is new. All right, so this is by Jamie Young for the attention of the lead detective Mark Morris. So we've got fingerprints. Presumably that will be Maddie because it's blanked out. It won't tell me. But those were the lists from the vehicle. Buccal swab for Stephan Sterns. Penile swab for Stephan Sterns. Blood card for... I'm assuming that's going to be Maddie. Fingernail scrapings of Maddie. Left and right. Neck swabs of Maddie. Right hand swab. Left hand swab. Oh dear. All right. Intimate swabs. Okay. All right. So comment. This is an SA missing 2 homicide case. So these will have been taken at autopsy. All of these swabs from Maddie. Osceola County as an open case. And Orange and Osceola. All the swabs and fingernail clippings from Maddie are to be compared to Stephan Sterns' buccal and penile swab. The 7 latent cards were collected from the car of Mr. Sterns and used to transport Maddie's body to the dump site. So they know that because they've seen it. They've seen it. Okay, so again, this is another one for the attention of Mark Morris, lead detective from Rita Tavares. Fingerprints, palm print example from Stephan Sterns. So SA into homicide. Okay, so all the swabs and fingernail clippings from Maddie are to be compared to Stephan Sterns. So we know all that. And then we've got... So, we've got the chief. This is addressed to the chief, Betty Holland, at Kissimmee Police Department. So, this report references evidence submitted to the Florida Department of Law Enforcement on June 13th by Jamie Young. Now, this is very important. This report contains conclusions, opinions, and/or interpretations made by the author. All right, so we've got all this stuff again. So buccal swabs from Stefan, swab and DNA from Maddie, fingernail clippings, swabs and stuff, all of that. But these are the results. These are the results. So We haven't seen this before. This is brand new. So item 3 is the buccal swab from Stefan. Item 5 is Maddie's DNA. So you've got to remember these item numbers. So complete DNA profiles were obtained from items 3 and 5. So Stefan and Maddie. Item 4 is the penile swab. So Stephan Sterns is expected to be the donor to item 4 because they took it from him. So of course it is. Item 6, right, left fingernail clipping from Maddie. Using a colour change, item 6 failed to give any chemical indication for the presence of blood. So no blood under Maddie's fingernails. Item 5 is expected to be a donor to item 6. No DNA foreign to Maddie was obtained from item 6. So they take fingernail clippings at autopsy so that they can see whether there's any skin cells, DNA, blood from the attacker. So item 7, right fingernail clipping. This one did. So the right fingernail clipping gave a chemical indication for the presence of blood. So under Maddie's right fingernails was blood. However, it's Maddie's. No DNA foreign to Maddie's was obtained from item 7. So it was Maddie's own blood under her fingernail. So we don't know where that came from. So item 8.1 and 8.2 is the left neck swab and right neck swab. Both of them, the right and left neck swabs, gave chemical indication for the presence of blood. However, no DNA foreign to Maddie was obtained from item 1 and 2. So Maddie's own blood was found on her neck. I don't know what that means. Or maybe a chemical indication of blood doesn't necessarily confirm blood. It's just an indication. So right hand swab from Maddie gave a chemical indication for the presence of blood. DNA results foreign to Maddie was obtained from item 9. However, due to the limited nature of these results, the data is not interpretable. So there was foreign DNA on Maddie's right hand, but probably not enough to get a profile from someone else, unfortunately. Left hand, again, gave a chemical indication for the presence of blood. So from the left hand, demonstrated the presence of a mixture. So we've got item 5 is expected to be the donor. Item 10 is to item 10 and is observed in the mixture. So Maddie's, obviously, DNA is there. DNA foreign was found due to limited nature of these results. This DNA is not data is not interpretable. So on both the right and left hand, there was DNA, probably transfer DNA that wasn't strong enough to be tested. All right, rectal swab from Maddie gave a chemical indication for the presence of blood. And possible hairs were observed on item 11, but were not removed or examined. Why? Why wouldn't you take the hairs and examine them? I don't know. Why? That's not, I don't know. So no DNA foreign to Maddie was obtained from item 11. So it's Maddie's own blood on the rectal swab. Same on the vaginal swab as well. So indication for blood. There was also hair collected from that swab. Possible hair observed on item 12 was examined under a microscope. However, this hair was not suitable for STR DNA analysis and was returned to the original package. I bet you they could do mitochondrial DNA, though. I bet they could do mitochondrial DNA on it. Whether that would be helpful, I don't know. Another possible hair was observed, but was not removed or examined. So item 13, breast swab. Failed to give indication for the presence of blood. Okay. DNA results foreign to Maddie were obtained from item 13. But due to the limited nature of these results, this data is not interpretable. So again, that's touch DNA, I bet you. Oral swab gave chemical indication for the presence of blood. So blood in her mouth. No DNA foreign was observed. Wow. Wow. So they've been entered into CODIS. PCR-based SDR DNA analysis was performed on all those items. Why SDR testing may be considered for item 6. What's item 6? Left fingernail clipping. Why? I don't know why I'm questioning, but anyway. And 10 and 13. Why SDR testing requires resubmission from DNA extracts. Please contact biology for guidance. The term sperm cell fraction and epithelial cell fraction refer to the two portions of the extract generated during a differential extraction procedure. The presence of DNA in the sperm cell fraction does not confirm the presence of seminal material or the type of cells from which the DNA originated. Okay, good to know. All right, so basically, there was foreign DNA present, but none of it enough to test for a profile. And there was a hair. Well, it was actually 3 hairs where maybe there shouldn't have been, but not suitable for testing. Well, 2 of them they didn't try. One of them wasn't suitable for testing. And then there was blood. Maddie's blood was on virtually every one of the swabs from her that they took. I don't know what that means. It's just incredibly sad. Incredibly sad. All right, so moving on. This is purple Apple iPhone with clear case with cherry design and a black Samsung phone. So I don't know whether doesn't say which one's which. I don't know whether that's Maddie's and then Stefan's or Jen's and Stefan's. And then I don't know why these are highlighted, but making it annoying. So black shorts, pink undergarments, set of swabs, rag from front passenger door. All right, so this is just the write-up. This is the write-up of the stuff that they found in the car. The latex gloves and all that lot. So this is the, it's just basically a chain of custody form. So this is where all the stuff was sent to the forensics department. So that's just a list of stuff that's sent to forensics. So all that's just the write-up for chain of custody. That's good. All in forensics now. All the stuff from both the vehicles, from the house, all now in forensics. Pages and pages of it. Trash bag crock. 2 swabs of wearer DNA from insole of one white crock. 2 swabs from zipper tags of backpack. 2 swabs from handle of backpack. The tyre. The backpack containing miscellaneous items. So this is all the stuff that they got out the trash. This is the stuff that they got out the trash. So a math book, two math books. Great iPhone 13 Pro. Jim Morris. Black wallet with chain that spells Natalia, containing US currency. Surveillance footage. Basically everything that they've collected, all gone to forensics. This is just the form with everything in. Laptop. Lift cards. Property report. So again, the property report for everything that we read. We read in all the handwritten notes. That's all in again. Skip down all this. Sorry if it makes you dizzy watching all the scrolling. Trunk mat, pillowcase. This is from Jen's. I'm recognising the items now. Jen had a pillowcase in her car. Okay. Trace filters from the car. Trash bag, white crock. 2 swabs from the backpack. So that's all the stuff that they got from the trash. Just written up into evidence. All right. Now, this is where it begins. So I'm going to stop here, and this is where we are going to start tomorrow. This is the beginning of all of the phone ping data. So just to kind of show you just a little bit. So we've got Stephan Sterns, who is Stefan's dad. Historical device location analysis. So this is Stephan Sterns. And then there's pages and pages. If you look down the left-hand side, there's pages and pages and pages, because they've done all of this like tracking for all of their phones. It's so good, but we're going to go through it all tomorrow. And then right at the end, there's just a handful of documents that are not related to this. Just literally a handful. I'll just show you those. The majority of the rest of this discovery is phone ping stuff. Really, really, really interesting. But we'll do it all tomorrow. It's going to take more than an hour, but I'm sure you won't mind because it's very, very interesting. This is just a few bits that are at the end. So we might as well just do these now. And these are just miscellaneous stuff that, if you remember way back in the early days of this discovery, there was a canvas of the neighborhood, and this is just a additional write-up to that, like the apartments that they canvassed, and the majority of them either no one answered or just didn't see anything, didn't know anything. Business records. iPhone, black wallet. This is just stuff that should have been, I think should have just been in earlier, but it's just been lumped in. iPhones. What's this? Oh, okay, that's investigative detail. We've read that. So everything else that comes here, we've read it already. It's just repeats. It's just stuff that's been stuck in the end. So this is Maddie's grandma. So I don't think we've read this. So I don't know why these are just completely out of order. But Blank identified herself as Maddie's maternal grandmother. Last time she saw Maddie was the night of the 25th. So we've heard from Maddie's granddad and her aunt, but we haven't heard from grandma. So this is just stuck in the end here. At her home where Maddie's birthday party was held. It's not uncommon for Maddie to sometimes walk from school to her office located at Blank. Jen called Blank and asked if Maddie had walked to her office and said no, basically. She never runs away. She never run before. Approximately 1 year ago, there was an incident where Maddie was upset due to having an argument with her mother, and she called her grandma. At that time, she explained she was walking around the neighbourhood due to being angry. However, she soon went back home after being told to do so, either by Jen or by her grandma, I don't know. Though Maddie did not have any, while grandma did not have any articulable concerns for Stefan or Jen, she stated that she does not like Stefan. Can you hear a dog snoring? Yeah, it's Cassie. She always snores. Oh, this is a roommate. This is a roommate. So these are right at the end. We could easily have missed these, but they're very interesting. All right, so Blank identified herself as Jen's roommate. She and 15-year-old son have a room in the home. So Blank last saw Maddie on the afternoon of Sunday, February 25th at approximately 12:30. Blank did not see Maddie return to the home because she was already in bed by 20:45, so 8:45. Further, Blank did not see Maddie leaving the home, as she always leaves by 7:45. Stefan was staying in the home for approximately 6 months. However, he moved out of the home 3 to 4 months prior. Stefan and Jen broke up, but still agreed to live with one another until he left. Stefan and Jen have been together for 5 or 6 years. I don't know, that's Jen or Maddie or the roommate maybe, did not see Stefan at all until the afternoon of Monday, February 26th, and does not believe he arrived at the home until the night of the 25th. Blank did not share any concerns about the activities in the home. However, she did share that Stefan, or Maddie, maybe, sometimes had trouble regulating her emotions. So that's either Maddie or Jen, maybe both of them. Interview of science teacher. So we've read the teacher's ones, but let's just see if there's anything different in this. So typically quiet, reserved, but often loses focus. Frequently states she's not feeling well and has to go to the school nurse. So she started the year in the 3rd period science class, but was recently moved into 6th period science due to issues in another class she was having. Although Maddie's grades have always been D's and F's since moving into the new period, beginning of the year, she's only turned in 1 or 2 assignments. So Maddie, although Maddie is frequently withdrawn and quiet, the teachers never attributed any of her behaviour to being sad or depressed, rather explained it as one of the students who struggles with learning to be slightly withdrawn. On January 22nd, the teacher noticed Maddie had been more tired since moving into her 6th period class. So she sent a message to Jen, maybe, to notify her. Jen responded that Maddie did not take her medication that day, and that was the reason for her behaviour. However, teacher noted tiredness extended beyond just that day. Maddie has never made any suicidal comments or threatened other students. Math teacher, I think we've read the math teacher one. So she has to be reminded to pay attention because she loses focus, usually very reserved. So basically all the teachers are saying the same thing. Is it any wonder? Is it any wonder, given what she was going through? Dear me. All right, so that's the stuff about the sex crimes reports. More stuff going into evidence. Black shorts, undergarments. Oh, that was to receive this, get the scent article for the dog. So we've read all that. I think the rest of this we've read. Yeah, read all that. All right, so everything else we've done. Math book submitted into evidence for safekeeping. White shirt. During the search for in the fields, they found some stuff, but that I don't think that would have been relevant. We don't know though. Search warrant. We've read that. It's better to have too many copies than not enough. So that's the warrant for the iPhone. So black in colour, unknown model, Apple iPhone. So this came from the pocket of Stephan Sterns. So that must be Stefan's phone. From the intersection of blah, 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 blah. Okay. Inventory receipt. That's it. So that last one is the search warrant for Stefan's phone. All right. So the only thing we've got left to do is the ping stuff. The ping stuff. The ping stuff. There has to be enough on Jen for an arrest, surely. I don't think there is. Not that we've seen. I mean, there is some redacted stuff in here. There's quite a bit of redacted stuff. I think when it's page after page after page after page of redactions, I think those are photos. Like they tend to redact the photos from discoveries. But again, there's a lot of stuff that's not been released yet. So even though there's nothing in here, nothing that has been released previous to this implicates Jen, other than telling a lie to the cops. There's nothing that implicates Jen in any crime. But because this discovery is geared towards Stefan and the S battery, we don't have any of the information that has come since. We don't have the autopsy. We don't have a full scope of what they found on Maddie's phone, on Jen's phone. We only know what was found on Stefan's phone. So there's still quite a lot we don't know. Like, I think based on how new this investigation is, really, I mean, this only went down in February, the end of February. So the whole investigation is only 4 months old. I tend to think that if they were going to arrest Jen, they would have done by now, because they'll have all of the returns from search warrants, all of it. They'll have all of it back now. So I tend to think that they're not gonna arrest her. Does it mean that she was wrong? No. I mean, she's not been a good mother, in my opinion, but is it enough to criminalize her? And you see, it's not what we know, it's what the cops can prove. It's what the cops can prove. And if the evidence isn't there, then they can't arrest her. She should be ashamed of herself, absolutely. Absolutely. Exactly. You don't let your child sleep with an old man. You don't. You seriously don't. But, I mean, gullible, in denial, turning a blind eye, it makes her life easier. All of those things, I think, in my opinion, are true. But did she commit a crime? I don't think it. I don't think it will come to that. I don't think it will come to that. Yeah, low self-esteem and medication, maybe, that made her feel everything was fine. I don't know. She may come off too sympathetic to a jury. Well, they're going to need her. They're going to need her testimony in the trial, assuming that he pleads not guilty to this S-battery. I mean, look, they don't need her testimony for the S-battery. They've got it. They've got it. He might as well plead guilty. The homicide, I think they could do without her testimony. I think they probably have enough. However, I don't think it's quite the open and shut case that the S-battery is. Because, of course, there's other people living in the home. And because the DNA results were inconclusive, a defense attorney could say, well, yeah, he covered it up so he could get done for the abuse of a corpse or whatever the equivalent is in Florida, but he didn't do the murder. So I think for that reason, they have to play the cards very close to their vest regarding Jen. So that's just my views. That's just my views. And we simply don't know. We don't know what we don't know at the moment in relation to Jen. Did the grandparents not see when Maddie was sleeping and say to Jen, it's not acceptable? I don't know. I mean, it came out during the before all this discovery came out. It was a rumor that Maddie was sleeping in the same bed as Stefan and Jen. And that apparently came from someone from the family. But, I mean, what can they say? They can say, I don't agree with Maddie sleeping with you and Stefan, but that's all they can do. They can say, we don't agree with it. They can't stop it, though, can they? Wonder if the autopsy will get some better hits on DNA. That is the results from the autopsy relating to the DNA. All of those swabs and fingernail clippings and everything was taken from the body at autopsy. So that is the DNA return from the autopsy. From the autopsy data that was taken. Yeah, Jen's mum knew she didn't like to sleep alone. Yeah. But honestly, I don't think the roommates will have known, because they probably just kept themselves to themselves. They're a roommate. Well, they'll have their own room, they'll have their own space in the house. They probably only share the kitchen and the bathroom, and that's it. Have we ever seen a list of who was in the house? It was 2 roommates, so it would be the woman and her 15-year-old son. So we haven't seen anything in this discovery from the 15-year-old son. It's not in here that I've come across. But obviously he's a minor, so they might not release it. Yeah, the roommates would just minded their own business. And then, they may not have even known Stefan that well. So I don't blame the roommates, and I don't blame members of the family who didn't live in the house. They can tell you, they can advise you, they can say they don't agree with it, but then what can they do? What can they do, really? I don't know if there was any other roommates. Over the period of time that Stefan and Jen and Maddie lived together, there's this roommate at this particular time with her son, but I don't know whether previous to them moving in, there were other roommates who may have seen stuff, I don't know, who may have, lived there and then moved out. I don't know. All right, I'm going to go. Gone a little over the hour. I like to keep these brief and concise because then they're easy to refer to in the future and they're easy to watch on the replay. So thank you all. Thank you all for joining me. I shall see you 6 p.m. UK time tomorrow, which is 1 p.m. Eastern. And then whatever that is in your local time, work it out. I'll put the scheduler up tomorrow, and that scheduler will tell you what that time is in your local time. So you don't have to work it out once the scheduler comes up. So it's 1 p.m. Eastern. That's going to be 10 a.m. Pacific. And we're going to go through all the phone ping data. So pages and pages and pages of it. But it's all in like nice sections. It's dead interesting. So I shall see you tomorrow. Did I have any donations? I don't see any donations. That's fine. And of course, there's no memberships on this channel because this is Michelle Walks. I like to spread my content out. So this one is on Michelle Walks. I'll do it on Michelle Walks tomorrow as well, I think, on this channel, Michelle Walks, tomorrow. So, all right, guys, enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks, mods, as always. And I'll see you soon. Bye, guys.